Yeah, you can start.
Right, so the World Cup squad is finally out. We have our final 15 who's going to take on the rest of the world. So, who has made it? Who has missed out? Who has been lucky enough? We will discuss all those points in today's video. Let's go straight to Praneeth and Shravnan. And guys, how are you doing? First of all, are you pumped up? How it's going to be like? Because do you see any uh, shockers over there? Any misses? Any player that you are really excited about? What do you guys have to think? Let me start with Praneeth first.
So, like this squad was, it was something close to what I was expecting, but there were some exclusions which I was thinking ki maybe you could have added him. For example, Prasidh Krishna, he was part of Asia Cup squad,
Mhm.
but all of a sudden uh, you have excluded in the World Cup squad. Yeah, of course, I can understand that Asia Cup was 18-member squad and this is 15-member squad, so you had to exclude someone. But Prasidh
Mhm.
Krishna, for me, it was like he's someone who has a capability of taking wickets in the middle overs,
Yes.
and that is something India was lacking because in every World Cup, like in 2019 World Cup also, and 2020, even 22 T20 World Cup, India was able to take early wickets, but later they failed to take the wickets. But somehow teams used to manage to uh, make a comeback and give a good enough score, good enough target
Mhm.
for India to chase. So for me, Prasidh Krishna is something which was surprising.
Mhm. Are you surprised to see both Akshar as well as Jadeja in the 15-member squad? Because I'm pretty sure both of them are not going to play in the 11, right? So why not have somebody else who could have been utilized just in case if things don't go our way, rather than keeping finger spinners of. Okay, there's no comparison here. First of all, like Jadu is way ahead in terms of his all-round
Yeah,
skill set and stuff, but Akshar is on the same route, right, as Jadeja is right now. So I don't think 99% are there are chances that we won't play both of them in the same 11. So why would you have somebody like Akshar? I mean, you could have gone with somebody else rather, a Prasidh Krishna for that matter, just in case,
yeah,
because
that
if there is
does.
fatigue to our bowler, so maybe just rest out Bumrah against a weaker opposition, or rest out Shami or Siraj and then play Prasidh Krishna instead. We could have done that way.
That is also true, but there are few wickets in India. For example, Lucknow wicket is there, Lucknow wicket and Chennai wicket is there. So it's spinners can cash in a lot, right? And lot of teams, uh, yes, it is just a theory that both of them with same skills like Jadeja and Akshar Patel both are left arm spinners, so it doesn't add any diversity in that, and so it's not advisable something like that. People say those things, right? But as long as
Yes.
both of them are skillful enough, they can be part
And
of the team.
contributing to the team scores. Yeah. I'll come
Yeah,
to you, Shravan. Sorry. I'll come to you, Shravan. The most important question is we talk about spin friendly wickets. All right. Jadeja is a finger spinner. Akshar is a finger spinner. Kuldeep is a wrist spinner. I think Ashwin has made it to the cut, made it to the squad, right? What about Yuzvendra Chahal? Why not a
Yeah,
leggy in the mix?
yeah, that's the question
I
I
mean,
wanted
they could
to
have
put up.
they could have
Yeah,
so easily gone with UZ as well, like just to maintain that
yes.
kulcha thing, wherein they normally have dominated in the past, have shown the world in the past that they can pick up wickets in the middle overs. But why are the management not persisting with both of them in the playing 11, or not even in the squad? To be very honest.
Yeah, I think what the management could have think is they thought that they can't play both Kuldeep and Chahal in the same side because the batting depth for India is not that much. Once you pass Jadeja, there was not much batting depth, so they wanted to have someone who can bat a little bit. Like Kuldeep can offer you
Mhm.
that he can defend well and he can rotate the strike. But for in Chahal, I think they thought that it was not that much venom in the ODI format. After that 2019 World Cup, both of them weren't played together much of ODIs, so that could be another one. I think the selection committee then hadn't had this proper conversation with the players. Who are potentially can fit into the squad. Like instance, you can take Ashwin. He didn't play much of the ODIs right after that Champions Trophy defeat against Pakistan. He was excluded. Jadeja and Ashwin were the regular features in the ODI squad. But after that final defeat, we didn't persist with Ashwin and Jadeja. Then we brought Kuldeep and Chahal into the mix-up, and they did really well. Unfortunately, in 2019 World Cup, they couldn't have that impact they showed before the World Cup. They have showed such impact was not in the World Cup. So again, they went back and brought in Jadeja. He was really doing well, and again, Chahal's exclusion was also some lack of wicket, and he didn't have that match time in the ODIs. He was playing T20s consistently, but still, I don't think so. Due to that lack of match time, both Ashwin and Chahal got excluded. Also there was no I think the previous selection
Mhm.
committees didn't have that vision like you can't select a team overnight for a world cup. You have to plan in a year or two in advance. So
Yes.
if you want to win a world cup, you have to do this thing from 2021 or 2022 for at least. But they just
So
they didn't communicate it to the
you're talking
yeah
about match time. Yeah, you're talking about
yeah.
match time. So my next question to you, Praneeth, is how much match time has KL Rahul got? Right.
I mean, KL Rahul from after that 2019 World Cup, he was
Mm-hmm.
uh, he was given that number five slot in every ODI match. If he was fit and available, he was given that number five slot after that 2019 World Cup in every match, and he played that. So it was either it could be like Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul for a while. Once there was in between, they did try Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer, and later when Shreyas Iyer got injured, it was Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul. So KL Rahul had a sufficient match time uh, leading up to
No,
the World
having
Cup. It's
that
just
match time is completely different. Now he's been injured since the IPL. He
yeah.
was drafted in for the Asia Cup. Then again, he had to pull out because of an injury. He's rehabilitating with the NCA, and you draft him in the World Cup squad, expecting that he has recovered. I know I've heard on the sidelines when India were playing Nepal, he was playing a match, a domestic match, just to prove his fitness. So, do you think it's going to be a wise decision to induct him into the 15 and take a chance on his fitness? Because all right, he had filled that role really well, the number five spot that he was allotted. But going into a major tournament and you're not pretty sure about his game fitness, right? And taking a chance. What if, like, I know there can always be a replacement, but what if it happens right in the middle of a game? So do you think it's a wise decision to take that chance and draft in somebody who's not 100% fit?
So for me, like at this point, we need that wicket keeper also. See, if it was some other middle
Mhm.
order batsman we were looking for, we could have gone with either Surya Kumar Yadav or Sanju Samson
Yeah.
or Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson is also a keeper, but uh, if uh, if we are looking with the options we have in the keepers, one is Sanju Samson, one is KL Rahul. KL Rahul provides that assurance, right? In the middle,
Mhm.
for example, in the Pakistan game, we were desperately needing that assurance
Yes.
from the middle order batters, and Hardik Pandya and Kishan, they kind of showed that maturity. Somehow, that assurance is given by KL Rahul. Even in that 2019 World Cup, KL Rahul was supposed to be a middle order batter, but unfortunately, Shikhar Dhawan got injured, so he had to open. So, so KL Rahul was always in India's plans as a middle order batsman, right? So, him being in the squad is fine. Like, for example, if you take Virat Kohli, for example, so if he doesn't have a match time or anything, you would not drop him. You would play him, right, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
uh, because of the performances which he has done in the past. And same holds with KL Rahul, with the class he has, with the performances he had in ODI cricket. So I feel uh, it's not a bad idea, though.
Mhm. Tapan, do you want to add something to what Praneeth said?
Yes, actually, the team management just desperate. We don't have too many wicketkeeper batsmen in the reserves. If Rishabh Pant was fit, he is a straight fit into the 11. So without Rishabh Pant, we are just desperately need an experienced batsman who can provide such stability to the innings when things are not going right for India. Also, KL Rahul can accelerate when the time is right to hit. He can do that also. Also, the game time is not much for KL Rahul. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
the only difference I see between Virat Kohli and KL Rahul is Virat Kohli didn't have this long injury. He was not out of the scene for a year or so. KL Rahul was out of injury, but we are in no position to take a chance because we can't
Mhm.
include Sanju Samson because the team management, I think, they don't trust Sanju Samson that much to include him in the Asia Cup. They just have him in the reserve list only. Uh, so if you are going to pick up a 15-man squad, then having KL Rahul and Ishan Kishan is fine because Ishan Kishan played really well in the tough
Mhm.
situation he played and he rescued the innings for us. So yeah, KL
But
Rahul
you know
inclusion is
something.
desperate. It was desperate,
But
but
you know,
not
I
much
don't
with the
want.
reputation.
But I don't want something like, let's say, Ishan Kishan performs really well in Asia Cup and he becomes a leading run scorer, for example. I don't want KL Rahul to come back in number five in that situation, because these things have happened before in India.
Yes.
Like for example, in
Because some
2019 World
players
Cup.
have been favored, basically. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, let's
like
put it that way straight away. Because if somebody else has performed, and then, you sideline that performance, and then just based on the reputation of a player, like, you get him inducted into that slot, and then, it just completely disbalances the whole
yeah.
playing 11 or the whole squad. I mean, that
For
has happened in the
example,
past.
Ambati Raidu and Vijay Shankar.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh, all these things shouldn't happen. So uh,
Off late, we have
if
this recency bias. If a player performs
recency
at
bias
some
here.
point of time, we just pick him in the squad straight away. Example, Tilak Verma, you can take. He performed well in the T20. He was just drafted into the ODI team, and it's pretty unlikely to get him involved in the ODI setup pretty soon. Also, putting him in the Asia Cup squad also. Uh, we should have tried him earlier, then we can draft him. But they're doing things abruptly uh, because of
Yeah, I
this
mean,
recency
like
bias.
again, this squad. I mean, all right, now that you have the squad, so 95% of this squad, I think, barring KL Rahul, I guess, and I don't know if I'm missing out something. We'll actually have the whole squad read out by Praneeth in some time. Praneeth, if you have the whole squad, we'll read that out for our viewers because I don't really have access to the squad right now. So. 90 to 95% of the squad is actually playing the Asia Cup now. So the strategy from here on should be to play the same players, except and maybe an external factor, maybe an injury or something. So play out the same squad for the whole of the Asia Cup, the warm up, the Australia series, the warm up games, so that the team gels properly and is when they are out there, they have a proper understanding. I know these players have been playing together for a long, long time, but it's about the goals now. It's about winning the World Cup. So we haven't had that strategy for a long time now. But whatever time is left with, okay, 8 or 10 ODIs, the team can stick together and prepare for the World Cup in their minds, right?
Right.
Yeah, if India reaches the Asia Cup finals, then we have exactly 9 games before the first game in World Cup. So it has to be, it must be the same squad which is going to play in the first World Cup game. It has to feature in all these 9 games, unless until if there is any what do you say? If there is any pitch which is going to demand an extra spinner or an extra fast bowler or else an injury, which would force us to make changes. In practice game, anyway, we are going to have all the batters to have a chance to crack on the
Yeah.
pitch. All the bowlers should bowl on the pitch. So before that, we have 7 games in hand. If India reaches Asia Cup final, so All these games, a single team should play, no matter
Mhm.
what the. There is no time for experiments again. We are almost done with that point now, and we have to
Yeah.
identify our potential players in all the numbers, in all department. Yes,
Right.
Kunal.
So I will read out the squad. So yeah, so Rohit Sharma is the captain.
Yeah.
Then Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, KL Rahul, Ishan Kishan are wicket keepers. Hardik Pandya is the vice captain. Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, and Shardul Thakur are all rounders. Kuldeep Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and Mohammad Shami are the bowlers in the squad. So that's the squad for the World Cup.
What do you think about Shardul Thakur's inclusion? I mean, do you think on Indian tracks he brings any value? Because let me make it a point over here. If you are thinking about depth in the batting order, if your seven batsmen haven't delivered, then I don't think there is a possibility that your eight would do the job, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then if you are dropping a main bowler from whom you could have got your 10 overs out of the way, okay, would you compromise a Shami maybe, who is on the fringes these days because Bumrah and Siraj select themselves, right? So Shami has become a third option. So would you drop a Shami, or would you drop, for that matter, another spinner, and maybe in the shape of Akshar Patel, if that was to be, to
I
induct
mean,
Shardul Thakur? I'm just giving you an example. Basically, would you drop a proper bowler to have an all-rounder in the form of Shardul Thakur? Okay, because he
right.
provides a depth in the batting in the batting order. Like, why would you have to always strengthen your batting? Why not? Why can't you strengthen your bowling? Because most of the teams that you have seen over the years who have become gone on to become World Cup champions have had really, really good depth in their bowling
Bowlers,
attack.
yeah. So see, like for me, Shardul Thakur, yes, one of the reasons why India persisted is because he gives the batting depth, and also uh, Shardul Thakur has the ability of taking wickets in the middle overs, right? And see, for me, uh, if you have to go for some wicket-taking options in the middle overs, Shardul Thakur in the ODI setup, I don't feel he's the guy. He can provide you breakthroughs here and there, right? But he's not someone uh, who would be giving you wickets all the time. There are some phases where he could give the wickets and all. For me, I felt that you could have gone with a proper bowler who can take wickets in that phase.
Yes.
And
Because
for
I will
me,
tell you something. I mean, if it's about horses for courses, then okay. Imagine if there's a flat track out there. Okay,
hmm,
Shardul Thakur with maybe 125 to 130 kilometers per hour, bowling to Jose Butler.
yeah,
I mean, can you imagine what's happening, right?
If you are
So
bowling
yeah,
to Josh Butler with 145 also, you'll hit you out of the
I
park in
know
the flat track.
exactly. So
It
that's
will
what the
be very
point that
easy
I'm
for
trying
him.
to make over here. Like, if you are just thinking about strengthening your batting, the Pradeep made a very good point. Like, you could actually go on and strengthen your bowling. Like, just include one extra bowler in place of an extra all rounder. You have two all rounders there, Jadeja and Hardik. All right. So, and then you already have like seven batsmen, proper seven batsmen who could on their day go on and win a game for you. Add an
yeah,
extra bowler.
exactly.
Yeah, because you need to have at least six to seven bowlers who could bowl your 50 overs. So that has to be the way out basically. So that is one thing. I'm not sure if he's gonna go on and make it to the playing 11, but yeah, I mean that's what the strategy looks like. I mean you need to have an extra all rounder maybe. Uh, Worst come worst, just in case if there's any injury to somebody to an all rounder. I don't know if that's the
Hmm,
thinking behind it, but that's what it looks like. I would have actually gone on with somebody like a UZ Chahal on Indian tracks, to be very honest,
Yes.
instead of getting Shardul Thakur, because you never know when what track you're playing on, how the situation would be. So a leg spinner would any day be handy. I mean, look at Adil Rashid, look at Rashid Khan. So they
Zampa.
can go for some runs, but they do get you wickets. I mean, that's exactly the nature of the beast, basically.
I mean, that's true with leg spinners, but if you think about Rashid Khan, Adam Zampa, or Adil Rashid, they always go for wickets. They flight the ball.
Yes.
They do all those things which would get you wickets, and at the same time they go for runs. But UZ
Yes.
Chahal, when he was part of RCB, he was what you call. He was more into wicket taking mindset, where he used to flight the ball. Even in that small grounds of Chinnaswamy, he was never afraid of uh, going
Mhm.
for runs.
Yes.
But when he got into RR team, maybe it was Rajasthan Royals' strategy that he should be someone who is uh, who is defending the runs, not going for wickets. So his bowling completely changed. So where he used to dart the balls in, all these things used to go on, and
Mhm.
uh, that kind of changed his fortunes in the World Cup squad, right? So for me, UZ Chahal kind of lacks over that wicket taking mentality is missing. And
So basically, his change in approach actually cost him the place in the ODI setup. Is that
yes,
what you're
and
trying to say?
also
Oh.
yes, that's the thing. And also him not able to bat. That has
That oh,
kind of
that's how
that added on
that's
his mystery, as simple as that.
that will be a separate video on that. Like why players are not uh, you know working on different skill sets. Basically, I mean we can come up with a whole 40 minutes video on that basically.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's a lot
absolutely.
more to do. There's a lot more to actually add on. Like why did the players in the past develop those multifacets to their game, and why some of the top order batsmen are just reluctant to bowl. Some of the bowlers just don't want to bat. I don't know why that is, but yeah, we do have a video planned, in the future. So let's wait for that.
So
Shravandan,
yeah,
how?
regarding
Yeah,
sorry, I wanted to add something regarding
sorry, go ahead.
Shardul Thakur's expense. Like, would you sacrifice Mohammad Shami? So
You
for me,
cannot.
Mohammad Shami is he's someone who is good at bowling at a early phases when there's a swing and all. But in the middle overs, Mohammad Shami, I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
So that's where Shardul Thakur has a edge. So that's one thing you could that
But
one
unfortunately, we can only play 11, right?
that's
So
true.
that's
Like
that's true.
yeah,
So
that's the
basically,
unfortunate thing. Yeah,
yeah. So basically, I mean, if I was the captain, then I would do something like this. I know Bumrah and Siraj both are good in the early part of the spell as well as in the death.
yeah.
Wherein Shami is really good at the start of the spell, right? When it's seeming, swinging, and a bit wobbly. So from Shami, get most of his overs out in the very first spell and keep Bumrah for the last part of the spell and keep Siraj for the middle and last. Maybe Siraj can bowl 4 overs. Shami can finish six overs if he's bowling really good. Maybe go for seventh over. All right. Then get his 3 overs in in patches when the wicket goes down, just bringing him and asking him to bowl an over or two in the middle, and then 1 over he can get away with it. So that has to be a strategy wherein you can try and cover for because Shami up front could be deadly dangerous when the conditions are even 50% favorable to the bowlers. The
Yeah.
line and length, the seam that he brings in, he would be absolutely on top of his game. Wherein Siraj has developed a skill set wherein he can bowl at any stage of the game, despite the fact that he went for runs yesterday. But some of the contribution was from our fielders as well. Uh,
Right, right.
but yeah, then Bumrah, yeah. So basically, I mean, it's a team game at the end of the day. So you will have to try and utilize the skill set of a player where they are actually good at something like horses for courses kind of stuff. So the captain has to make those calls. All right. So I need to bowl Shami in the first phase of the game, get 6, 7 overs out of him straight away, and then he can just come back in the middle overs, maybe finish a couple, and then 1 over at the death, and then utilize Siraj and Bumrah properly at the beginning and at the end, wherein the middle overs will be filled in by the spinners and Hardik Pandya. So these are the things that you'll have to mix and match, just like Dhoni did, or maybe the captains in the past. I mean, they weren't I mean, they made those calls instinctively rather than just a textbook stuff wherein, all right, this bowler has to bowl these many overs at this point of the game. So no, as a captain, you will have to take those harsh calls and instinctively decide when to do what.
I mean,
So,
if there
I
Shravan,
was
want
a
to
how
add.
happy are you with the squad in general?
Sorry, Junaid.
How happy are you squad with the squad in general?
Yeah, it's expected. As Pranit said,
Uh-huh.
it's on the line. We know that we are going to get this only, but I thought of getting some surprise by including UC Chahal instead of Akshar Patel. Because if you see the squad list of the 15 men, I think only 13 can play. They will rotate. Either Ishan and Shami will be getting rotated. Uh, Adding to your point, Pranit asked that if you include Shardul in the expense of Shami, I would do that because I will not play Shami in all the league games. We are going to play 9 games. I will only play Shami against the top sides only. Like for example, if we are playing against England, New Zealand, South Africa, I will play Shami as a third seamer. Like I will use to open the ball innings with Shami and Hardik Pandya because Hardik nowadays are hitting that 140 plus. When he's fresh, we can use him. We can't use him in the middle. Siraj is my workhorse. He can bowl at any point of time. He can bowl any number of overs straight in a stretch. But unlike Shami, Shami will not give you that luxury of having him bowling in the middle overs. So I will include Shami only in the main games, not with some lower ranked sides like Bangladesh, for example. If you play against Afghanistan, I won't play Shami there. I will go with Shardul Thakur only. And then in the knockout, I will pick the team based upon the pitch. If you're going to play in Kolkata, definitely I will play Shami. Irrespective of the opposition, I will play Shami. Dharamshala also, I will play Shami. But I will not play in the Lucknow. Instead, I will go for Akshar Patel. Even though we have a Jadeja in the playing 11, including Akshar is not a, what do you say, is not a mistake because it
It's
is
not a
going
bad
to be a
option,
slower
actually.
track. Slower
Yeah,
track. We don't have
totally.
others also. If you have Chahal, you could have gone for him. Instead,
We could
you
have
can go for
we
Akshar.
can even play Akshar in Delhi, I would say, right?
Yeah, in the
Delhi's
slower tracks, we can play him in
slower
Chennai,
tracks. Yeah.
Lucknow,
Yeah, like
Delhi.
Delhi, Lucknow, Chennai.
Right.
You could take a gamble with Akshar and Jadeja in the same
Yeah,
team.
having feature in the same team because if the opposition is going to fail with the spin, there are high chances that we are also going to fail in the track also. Nowadays, our batsmen also is not playing very well against
You're
spin.
right, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
so it's possible to include Akshar and Jadeja in specific scenarios only. I will not play in all the games. My go-to all-rounders will be Hardik Pandya and Jadeja.
Sorry.
My go-to bowlers will be Siraj and Bumrah. So
You know,
they
like
are the fixed ones. 9 players have been fixed. Only two only. It's either KL Rahul or Ishan Kishan or Shardul Thakur or Shami. They are going to change. I
yeah,
don't see Surya Kumar will get a game in the World Cup unless if there is any injury or any forced substitution. I don't see Surya will get a chance to play. Overall, I'll be hoping that this will be our fourth star. Uh, so I'm just hoping because we have this home advantage. We know the conditions better. This team will they will surprise. We have so
Well,
many
actually,
questions around this.
well,
Yeah.
I really hope they surprise positively. I mean,
Yes.
because I mean, it's all about look. The thing is, it's all about the preparation. It's all about the mindset and everything. I do understand that, but like uh, there's a process to everything you do. How quickly or how early you decide your play, your core, and how well have they? I mean, in against Pakistan especially, we looked a bit jaded. Okay,
Yes.
even yesterday we looked a bit rusty, right? Especially the
Bowling and
fielding. I mean,
fielding.
like, three drop
and even
catches.
Yeah,
see
bowling is
Shami in the
also
first
not
over
that
and
much.
Shami in the 10th over. There was a huge difference because
Yes,
Shami got the game time in that first 9 overs and 10th over he was very lethal,
yes.
right? So all
Exactly,
these
you're
things
right.
do
I mean, like,
matter.
yeah. So basically, now it's a good thing that we have started to get the game time now. Again, it's all about. I'm just scared to death of just one thing: resting a player out for no reason, or experimenting. Like now that you have selected your squad, right? So please, for God's sake, play the same squad for
Yes.
all the matches, hoping we reach the final in Ahmedabad on 14th of November. Please play, like, from these 15 players until and unless there's a force injury. I mean, like, we can only beg to this management now, because otherwise, like, you don't know what's in their mindset, basically. Because as a fan, you get so frustrated. Now, think about in this way, the one day, like, series in West Indies, I think uh, the top players could have played, right? But they, I think they sat out the other two ODI games, right? So the point here is win the toss, bat first, get that game time. This is what I personally want. I mean, from the squad. Even yesterday, I think against Nepal, I know we wanted to get a run to the bowlers. I mean, that's fine. But I somehow see our batting struggling, right? So, and our main strength is our batting. So, I mean, if the batters are not feeling the ball in the bat, then we don't know what's going to happen in the next game, right? So, I think the first game will be against Pakistan now. So it's good
Uh,
that Rohit and Shubman Gill have got that run, right? But somebody like Virat Kohli, he failed against Pakistan. He didn't play the West Indies series. Okay, this, I mean, obviously, like, but it's good to have those runs at the international or level under your belt before you go into a major game or a major tournament. This is what I personally feel. So it's always a good chance. I mean, like, it's a good thing to play out the series even against the weaker oppositions. I don't remember Sachin Tendulkar missing out a game or saying like, "All right, I'll probably rest." Right. So basically, going ahead, I would want these players to play all the games leading to the World Cup.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
we mentioned that earlier also. We have 9 ODIs in that, so we have to play the same squad. What
Yes.
you're playing 11 would be on October 8 against Australia in Chennai. You have to play that squad
yeah,
Yes.
with
Something like
some one or two
2003.
changes.
Something like 2003. Saurav Ganguly didn't use Ajit Agarkar, Parthiv Patel, and Sanjay Bangar for the whole of the tournament.
Yes.
We went with the same playing 11 for all the matches. We won. We played 11, lost two, both against Australia, and
Both the
won
same
9.
opposite.
Right.
yeah,
So we didn't make that change. So until and unless there's an injury or something, like, go ahead with the change. Otherwise, like, just don't. Because otherwise, you are passing on a negative statement to the player who has been dropped for one bad performance, right? So back
Yeah.
your team. He make, because these players have reached there because there is quality. If Hardik doesn't,
exactly.
like, play to, doesn't have a couple of good games, then he doesn't deserve to be dropped because he has a bundle of performance, backing him. So that's what it is basically. And is there anything else that you guys want to add on, or we can call
We
it a
could
day?
talk about who could be the semi-finalists.
Hmm.
So, uh,
Well, I think for me, it's going to be, I mean, my choice again: India, Australia, England, and Pakistan. That is what I feel. Or maybe it's going to be a tie between Pakistan and New Zealand, because there is a method to what Pakistan does. Whenever they enter the tournament as favorites, they screwing it up, and they are entering this time as a strong side, basically.
right, right.
So yeah, I mean, whenever they are underdogs, they, I mean, I don't know, it's not logical enough, but that's how they play. I mean, that's how the system works, basically. So I think for me, it's going to be India, Australia, England, and there's going to be a toss up between New Zealand and Pakistan.
For me, it's like India, Australia, England, and
Hmm.
South Africa. So I
Hmm.
feel South Africa is going to be that dark horse because look at that team. Like you have
I know. Yeah.
Quinton de Kock and Reza Hendricks as openers. Then in the
Yes.
middle order, it's Aiden Markram, Rassie van der Dusen, and David Miller, who are like very lethal against spinners.
Yes.
And then that bowling lineup with Rabada and Norkia, it's they are going to be really handful. So I feel South Africa is one of the teams which, and also they are pretty well versed with Indian conditions because of the IPL. They have
IPL,
been
true.
playing for so long, so I feel they would be that
Surprise
surprise
element, true.
factor for lot many teams. So, but of course they have that perennial choking ability. I don't know how it happens for them, but
I think we
they will
can't
be the
label them as
semi-finalists
chokers
for
now.
me.
True.
We are doing more choking than them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my semi-finalists. I'm hoping
What
for.
what
So
what do you
what
think,
do you?
Shravan?
Yeah, India obviously. I do feel Australia, Pakistan, and New Zealand will come because Pakistan are also there are not really much of change in conditions for India and Pakistan.
Yeah,
Also, Pakistan
you
do
get.
have a good lineup, a settled unit they have.
They have a settled unit. I mean, the only reason why I think I could pick Pakistan because it's the same team that has been playing for maybe more than a year now.
Yeah.
So they know their roles properly. They have their roles cut out, well defined. So they know who's going to bat at what number. I know they have that fragile middle order. I completely get that. But who knows, like, if Rizwan comes handy for a 50, 60 runs innings and Babar continues to play the way he is, Shadab Khan actually, like, is a reasonably, like, good batsman, and Iftikhar and maybe Salman Agha, because the conditions are going to be similar. Guys, just to let
Yeah.
you know, we have ruled Sri Lanka out straight away. The conditions are not going to be so different for them, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. I want to see this World Cup, stretch a bit, uh, go a bit close. I want India to win, but then I want this to be a fiercely competitive World Cup because otherwise, if just two or three teams are going on the run to win every game, and the other games are, I'm just like a bit concerned about the range as well, like October time, if it
Yes.
rains in Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, so it just takes the fun element out of the way, because last year I remember it was raining cats and dogs in October in Hyderabad. So we have a couple of, I think we have 3 games here, so it just takes that that X factor out of the World Cup if the teams are sharing points, just like the way it is doing now in
Asia
the
Cup.
Asia Cup. Yeah. So I want the games to be full 50 over games, wherein both the teams get proper, chance at having a go at each other, and let's see.
Yeah,
So
let's
yeah, on
hope for
that
the
note,
best. Yeah.
we will like to call it a day. Do join us tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll come up to you with some more exciting stuff. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Cricket centric view, and we have got a lot to cover, a lot of cricket coming your way, and we'll be covering the entire World Cup, every game, match by match, session by session. And I hope you keep liking us, subscribing us, and sharing our content. Thank you so much for joining today, and we will see you on the other side. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.